Hey, what's up YouTube? I haven't made a video in a really long time. It's not my fault. Some things happened with my computer and the software wasn't reading in my flip. Yeah, I'm really sorry about it. I've been trying to get it to work for a while, and just recently I actually found the program. One of my friends sent it to me through Facebook, and I was able to reset up everything, and now I'm going to be able to start making YouTube videos again. Feeling a little too close to the camera. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to do this. It's been too much time off. I missed so many great cards, so many, I don't know, just a lot of things that I wish I could have been calling. But I think UFC 139 is a good card to come back on. This is going to be my picks for it. Like always, prelims are going to be later. Right now I'm just going to run through the main card, give you my thoughts about it. First fight on the card is Stephan Bonnar versus Kyle Kingsbury. I remember watching Kyle Kingsbury fight Milando or whatever his name is, and that was a really good fight. I don't really think he won the fight, but the guy's definitely a scrapper. And Stephan Bonnar, everyone knows who Stephan Bonnar is. He's a pretty good, well, I don't know. How do you describe Stephan Bonnar? He's a kind of a wild, I'm not really sure how to describe Stephan Bonnar. Stephan Bonnar is pretty much his own person. He's Stephan Bonnar, black belt in Taekwondo, one of the best fights ever with Forrest Griffin. And yeah, he's Stephan Bonnar. The way I see this fight going, Kyle Kingsbury, like I said, is a scrapper, but I just see Stephan Bonnar kind of getting the better of the exchanges. I know Kyle Kingsbury likes to use a clinch. I don't think Stephan Bonnar is going to really let him use a clinch against him. He's a lot taller. I don't know how tall. I know Stephan Bonner's around, my bad. He's around 6'4", so I don't think he's going to be able to utilize a clinch against him. And I think Stephan Bonnar has a much better ground game, and he'll be able to kind of take him down and maybe get a submission. But in all ends, I think I'm just going to go with probably, I think he can finish him. I guess a third round TKO or submission from Stephan Bonnar. Could be fight of the night though. That looks like a great fight. Martin Kampmann versus Rick Story. I don't really agree with this fight. Martin Kampmann he's been off for a while and he's lost 2 straight. I think that he should have kind of a smaller fight than Rick Story because I don't see him winning, and I really wouldn't want to see Martin Kampmann get taken out of the UFC. But yeah, Martin Kampmann, I definitely give the edge in the kicking department, but I think Rick Story is just gonna keep going forward and not be able. I think he's just gonna be able to. I'm saying a lot. I think he's gonna be able to kind of impose his will, be able to take Martin Kampmann down. And Martin Kampmann's he's a great fighter, but I don't know. He just hasn't really been doing what he could be lately. He hasn't won for a bit, and he's taking some time off. So ring rust could definitely be a factor. Uriah Faber. Fucking Rick Story, his last fight was to Charlie Brenneman, I believe, and that sad loss. He was snapped his 6-fight winning streak, and now he's got to work his way up. And Martin Kampmann's going to be a great way to working that up. This could be a good fight if it stays standing, but Rick Story's probably going to look to take him down. It could be kind of more of a grind. So I'm just going to give it a third round decision to Rick Story. Brian Bowles versus Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber coming off his title loss, and he gets a #1 contenders fight. Don't know if I agree with that. Brian Bowles, he's looked good in his last 2 fights. I think he beat Mizugaki his last fight. And yeah, Brian Bowles, I kind of see him winning the Uriah Faber fight just because, I don't know, he's looking more consistent. His last fight, I think his last loss was to Dominic Cruz, so that's something they both have in common. But I don't know, I think Uriah Faber could just, I don't really see him getting a title shot right after the loss. So, I don't know. Uriah Faber definitely, he's a balanced fighter. Great guillotine. Brian Bowles, I'm not really sure. I just started kind of paying more attention to the lower weight class guys. I didn't get to watch a lot of WEC and stuff, so I can't tell you a lot about their fights. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Brian Bowles. Decision, probably, but I don't think he'll win against the Dominator. He's going to have that title for a long time. Kung Lee versus Wanderlei Silva. Really sad to see Vitor Belfort taken off the card. Yeah, Wanderlei Silva, he says he's going to keep fighting for 10 more years. I really don't want to see that, man. All you do is really... Yeah, he gets beat. It's not. No one likes really seeing one of their favorite fighters and one of the most dominate. When you were once one of the most dominating fighters in history in the Pride organization, and then you come to UFC and you get knocked out, you get beaten down, even the Michael Bisping fight, a lot of people say he lost. I believe he won, but I mean, just things like that. It's something you kind of want to see him retire, kind of like Crow Cop. It was really good to see him finally retire. But I would love to see Wanderlei Silva win here. Do I see him winning? No, not at all. Kung Lee, actually, I'm probably going to have to be rooting for him just because I did grow up in San Jose. His kickboxing studio was right next to the little, the Safeway, or the Save Mart that we shopped at in California. And I would talk to him. My dad knew him. He was kind of like, he was like a friend. I never trained there because my family was poor, but we all knew him. And it's really cool seeing one of your like hometown guys, like that close to home, doing so good in the sport. Former Strikeforce champion and his former kickboxing world champion, I know that. And I don't see Wanderlei Silva being able to get past that. I think he's going to be able to use his kicks to keep Wanderlei at range. And you know Wanderlei's chin just isn't what it used to be. But I can see Wanderlei probably getting finished in the second or third round by Kung Lee. So I'm just going to say second or third round finish. Dan Henderson versus Mauricio Shogun, who this is the main event. Really great to see Dan Henderson back in the UFC. I see he doesn't want to cut weight yet, but I heard if he wins this fight, he's going to drop down to fight Anderson Silva again, which could be a good fight. I could see him challenging Anderson Silva for the title, and a lot of people haven't been doing. Shogun, coming off that knockout of Forrest Griffin. Not to take anything away from Shogun, but Forrest Griffin, his wife was in labor that night. I'm sure his mind was in I don't know where his mind was. It could be in a lot different place that would mess up your head. But he's still one of the top light heavyweights in the world. The question here is if Dan Henderson's going to actually shoot on him, or is he just going to look for the fucking right hand like he always does? I could see him being able to strike with him, but I don't want him to be taken down by leg kicks. But then again, Shogun has that bum knee, and I believe if Dan Henderson does decide to shoot on him and take him down, that he can really win this fight. But he's probably going to look up for a brawl, and I don't really know. I don't really know where I see this fight going. I kind of see, just calling a wild factor here, I think Dan Henderson's probably going to get a knockout. This is a 5-round fight, I believe. That's the new thing now for the main events. And I can really see Dan Henderson getting a knockout within the 25 minutes because his cardio is still great, and he always is throwing the fucking knockout right hand. And I think that's the way I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it probably a 3rd or 4th round KO for Hendo. And just because, I don't know, you always got to love Dan Henderson. He's still 42. He's still at the peak of this, like the top of the sport. He's not like how Randy was. Well, Randy, when he retired, was like 46 or something. Or 45. So, yeah, I guess he was where Randy was because like 3 years before that, he was fighting Tim Sylvia. But just the way the sport's so much more stacked now, and you have guys like the John Joneses and just people like that, and the up-and-comers that really weren't there 3 years ago or weren't really as noticed. I mean, I can see, I don't know, Dan Henderson's still holding his own. One of my favorite fighters, and I think I'm just going to go with him because of that and the wild factor, the right hand. So I'll call it a 4th round KO for Dan Henderson. And yeah, that's my UFC 139 picks, you guys. Sorry, there's been so much going on in my life. You might notice my Ray-Bans are gone. I got in a fight at school. If you want to see that, it's on my favorites. Little scrawny guy. He came up and punched me in the face because apparently I gave him a dirty look at McDonald's. And I don't know, it's a cool video to watch. It has like 1,000 views. If you guys are interested, I'll post a link in the description, or you can just go through my favorites. Good to be back. I missed all my low subscribers. Izzy, Penguin. I don't know. There's a lot of subscribers that I had that I liked. But just start commenting again. Always remember to comment, like, favorite. Well, you don't have to favorite. I wouldn't favorite this. But yeah, be back with my prelim card, and it means a lot that you guys took the time to check out this video. It's good to be back, and I'm going to stay for a while this time. Bye.